At the moment, men all over the world want to be valuable. Because, as we all know, valuable men tend to get what they want far more frequently than less valuable men. What you're about to discover is a simple and incredibly effective method for successfully multiplying your value by 100. And it makes no difference what your physical appearance is, how you dress, or how much money you have in the bank. Consider when you were a child and your parents told you not to open the door at the end of the corridor. The mere act of telling you not to open this door made you want to open it even more. When we are told that we cannot have something, it ironically increases our desire for it. And one of the most important lessons you can ever learn is also one of the least understood. And this is all about the concept of value. Researchers recently conducted a study in which they placed two identical jars in a room. One jar held 2 cookies, while another held 10. They then asked participants to choose which jar they believed was more valuable. Most people would assume that the jar with 10 cookies is more valuable because it contains more cookies. But the jar with only 2 cookies was rated as having the higher value despite having 8 fewer cookies than the other jar. Gold is another example. Gold is currently very scarce because there isn't much of it available. If you could walk outside right now and pull up a handful of gold when you reach into the ground, it would no longer be a valuable and rare resource. Many men are unaware that the same concept applies to people, and particularly to men. People or things that are scarce are perceived to be more valuable. But here's the problem. Most guys don't know how to correctly exploit this strange nuance of human psychology and use it to their advantage. What you're about to learn is how to do it correctly so that you can multiply your worth nearly 100 times in the eyes of the majority of people. To understand how to use this to your advantage, you must first understand that the things that cause us the most emotional distress as humans are feelings of loss, regret, and missed opportunity. Consider yourself single and looking for short-term relationships, and you're on a train. As you sit there, you turn your head and notice a lovely lady walking alongside the train. You both feel immediate electricity as you make eye contact, and this girl is easily far more attractive than any girl you've ever encountered in your life. So she types her mobile number into her phone and walks towards the window to show you so you can add it to your contacts. The train pulls away just as she gets up to the window and you realize you'll never see her again. You automatically consider what you may have just lost or missed out on as your train pulled away. Even years later, you still have negative feelings about what happened that day. We are far more motivated as humans to do things or take actions that help us stop losing something than we are to do things or take actions that help us receive new things. This is one of the primary reasons why people in a relationship avoid leaving their long-term significant other for someone new. Because the sense of loss they would feel they know will be far greater than the sense of finding and being with someone new. Science has repeatedly demonstrated that humans, including men, are primarily emotional beings. That is, when we are in the heat of the moment, we tend to act on our emotional responses and then use logic afterwards to justify our actions. This demonstrates that emotions are extremely powerful and they rule over us in ways that most of us are unaware of. So, if you can tap into other people's emotions, you can make extraordinary things happen. So, how can you make yourself the jar with 2 cookies? Or, to put it another way, how do you turn yourself into a limited resource? This is where things get a little complicated. Most guys believe that physically pulling away from a girl they like is the best method for tapping into the power of emotional responses and loss aversion. But what if you could become a special, sought after, and 100 times more valuable man without pulling away? The problem is that most men get this wrong, and this principle applies not only to women, but also to men, jobs, and pretty much everything else in life. So the most effective method is to do it emotionally. When it comes to females, there are 2 main instances when this is acceptable. The first is when a girl attempts to approach you. And the second is when she attempts to distance herself from you. A girl who wants to get closer to you may do so by flirting with you or by doing things like spending more time with you physically, texting you more frequently, or doing other things that show she likes you. A girl withdrawing from you is all of these things but in reverse. So she's spending less time with you, texting you less frequently, and so on. Pulling away is the best way to substantially increase your value and convert yourself into a limited resource in either of these situations. But you don't want to withdraw completely. Instead, do just enough to demonstrate to her that you are valuable and that your attention and time are limited resources. So say you met this girl a few days ago, and while texting back and forth, she texts you asking you to meet that day. Instead of saying yes right away, you tell her you can't because you've allotted a day for your friends. But in addition to not going out with her, you're not going to text her anymore, making not only your presence, but also your attention a limited resource. Ironically, as humans, we always seem to desire the one thing that we believe we cannot have. And when someone plays the hard-to-get game, we are driven to want and chase that thing we can't have even more because we don't want to feel the loss of a missed opportunity. So whether it's at work, a pretty girl, or anything else you want in life, turn yourself into a limited resource and you might just find that whatever it is that you want ends up falling right into your lap. This is one of the simplest ways to effectively multiply your value by 100. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss the new videos that come out that are all just for you. See you in the next video.